Okay.
So this episode is all about wind and how it blows.
John. Sorry. Sister Wives season
Tell me I'm wrong.
7, episode 4, which is really cruel because when they first played it, they did a 2-hour episode. And I'm like, I'm not watching a 2-hour episode. We're just gonna burn the DVR and call it, done. But it's actually the first half is called "Embarrassing the Sister Wives," and it is just about wind. And I was like, this is not a useful plot device. Like, if they were on a desert island and their only hope was to like parasail off a cliff and there was really bad wind, that might be interesting. But the fact that they have, I assume Santa Ana's, because those go through Vegas and hit California, and they're dry and they're hot and it can just...
And it's wind.
It's wind, but that was the whole thing, the wind, the horror of the wind. And then what really annoyed me was none of the sister wives ran the baby shower, but they were like Monday morning quarterbacks about how they should have just gone inside or done this or done that. I'm like, I don't see any of you out there offering to help move tables or anything like that. So that just kind of annoys me. Anyway, they did the bridal shower. And then they were about how embarrassing it was that she got lingerie. And it was like it was pretty tame lingerie. And I get it, some people are more private. I remember I got little panties that said, did you know this? I had a bridal shower and it was all like my mom's friends. And in-laws and stuff, and someone gave me little underwear and they say "I do" across the back and little rhinestones, and one of the ladies said, "It should say I did," and I was like, oh my gosh, and I almost died. But that's kind of the fun. That's kind of the fun is if you're from a pretty conservative family lifestyle like we are and like they are, that's kind of part of the fun, is the idea that it's like, here's lingerie and you're really embarrassed because... Anyway, they kind of made it a really big deal because there just wasn't a lot happening. I don't know why they don't just shorten down these seasons.
Or episodes.
Or
like,
episodes.
I don't know, 15 minutes?
15. Anyway, and then the sister wives announced they were going to do a dance at the wedding. And I was like, this is not your thing, ladies. Like, this is not... I don't know why it bothers me so much. If it doesn't bother Madison, it shouldn't bother me. But it bothers me on a base level that it's like her wedding, and I'm probably channeling things from my wedding. There's probably, like, I should get a counselor in to talk to me about this. And then we have Tony and McKelty, and they come in and they're like, we want to get married in August. Now, this is what I would have done. I've been a mother for 3 months. I have an opinion on how these things should be done. But it would be to just say, here's the deal. If you do this, we're not going to be available to help you do a lot of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And if she says, well, I want to do it anyway, then fine, it's a wedding. And I don't get, this is the weird part to me, when, like I said, we come from a pretty conservative family, so my mom was like, don't have a long engagement. If you know this is the person you want to have for the rest of your life with, there's no reason to do a 2-3 year engagement or even a 1 year engagement. We were engaged, of course I was old, I was like 31, so there was like, the clock was ticking. We were only engaged 4 months, I think. We were married within 13 months of meeting each other on eHarmony. And so we had, biological clock was ticking, so we had to get going. But, a lot of my friends that, we went to church and stuff, you had kind of shorting, it wasn't like a month, and it wasn't like we were getting engaged in a month. But it was kind of like if you knew this was the person you wanted to spend the rest of your life with, you have all the tough conversations, you meet the family. If after, however long you choose, maybe a whole year or whatever, you get married, and once you decide to get married, you do your marital counseling, you plan the wedding, you get married. It's really kind of weird to me that they're like, oh, well, you get engaged and have these tough conversations. What have you been doing till now? Like, weren't you just, isn't that what you do during dating? Anyway, and that's no knock if people want to have a long engagement or a short engagement, but it's very clear McKelty and Tony, Anthony, whatever his name is, Tony, want to have a short engagement. And the parents are like, no, it needs to be a year. But they're also like, but you can't sleep together. And it's like, well, I'm telling you, one of those things is going to be a little bit more difficult. Like if you, anyway. But then she's like, fine, then I'll do it in December and it'll be perfect, but you have to pay for the honeymoon. And I don't know why. That just really,
It just set you on edge.
It really did, and I think this is also channeling some very deep things about manipulation, about kids manipulating their parents. But it bothers me because they have 21. There's a bunch of stuff that bothers me. First off, they have 21 kids. So it was the rule that no one can get married within 6 months of each other. They have a whole bunch of kids that are all within a couple years of each other. And now we've got to do this thing where, I guess the idea is probably the boys will not be held to the same standard because it'll be the, but it's like, oh, you can't get married because your sister's getting married. I recognize that, and if it's important to them, then they can wait a bit. But the other part of it is like, so I'm supposed to put my whole life on hold? Of course, they're all getting married really young. So there's that.
Yeah, compared to you spinster.
I was starting to collect cats. Actually, I had dogs is what I had. I had Great Danes. But anyway, but it really bothered me that they're like, she's like, fine, well, I'll do it later, but you have to pay for our honeymoon. And I kind of thought like, we know they're not pulling in the big, I don't know why. It is really, kids and money from parents, it's just really an issue with me right now. So there we go. So we're slowly catching up. And by the way, if you've watched this far and you care, I know that my season numbers are totally screwed up. I don't know what happened, but I'm off by, I have my...
It was the wind.
No, this should be season 9 and it's only season 7. And I have it written down this is season 9 and the internet says season 7. So I have to go back all the way back like 3 or 4 seasons and renumber everything. So I'll get there eventually.
Probably.
Maybe.